You're listening to Women in Wellness, a program to help you create gorgeous growth for your blissful business in health and wellness. I'm Dr. Gabby, holistic health expert and founder of Women in Wellness, a one-of-a-kind course and community designed to empower and inform you about how to build a purposeful and profitable holistic business. I have an awesome guest today. Nikki Sharp is here. Nikki is a certified health coach, yoga instructor, and author of the best-selling book, 5-Day Real Food Detox. She shares her knowledge through health blogging, her app, and detox programs. She also frequently works with clients locally and via Skype to help them change their lives, starting with nutrition. And she's been featured in Women's Health, Cosmo, Men's Health, and can frequently be seen on shows such as Access Hollywood and Fox News teaching cooking segments. Hey, Nikki.
Hi.
Hi. This is so fun.
Loud.
Well, thanks for joining us from LA. This is really exciting to talk to you and hear a little bit about your journey. For those of the listeners that don't know you, can you tell them how and why you became a health coach and yoga instructor?
Yes, absolutely. I was a model for many years, and through that, I learned, we'll just say, some not very good practices.
I was a model for a year, and I was like, get me out.
So you get it. And I'm not going to say every single person has a lot of these issues, but it's hard not to when your value relies on how you look, your body measurements. And so naturally you're comparing yourself to the skinniest girls in the world. So I picked up some just not so good habits, we'll say. And I ended up leaving New York when I was there modeling, going back to Colorado. I started cooking for myself for the first time ever. I was exercising I gave myself 30 days. After 30 days, I felt amazing. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. So I did all of that. And then I just started studying nutrition, and I realized how much I loved it. And it kind of spiraled from there, where I got out of the modeling world and ended up becoming a health coach, doing my yoga teacher training, studying raw nutrition, sports nutrition, just all sorts of different things. And I just feel like I'm constantly learning and growing in my own journey. And so I just try to share everything I learn with everyone else.
Yay, that's so fun. That's so cool. And so how and why did the 5-Day Real Food Detox come about?
This is really my baby. And the funny thing is, it wasn't meant to be a product. So basically a few years ago, I wanted to do a detox. I Googled what was out there. This was before juicing and smoothies and all of that. So it was either like the Gwyneth Paltrow $400 take a pill cleanse, or State Magazine, which was like eat a piece of salmon with 6 spears of asparagus. And I was like, no. And I knew enough about nutrition at the time. So I was like, I'm just going to write my own program. So I wrote my own, kind of based on Ayurvedic principles and digestion, and when your digestion is really good versus not so good. And at the time I had 5,000 Instagram followers. And so I just casually put out a little note, like screenshotted something. I was like, hey, do you guys want this program? And this was before people knew about detoxes and cleanses, and they were, everyone had one. So I was one of the first people to come up with a program, especially on Instagram. And so I just called it the 5-Day Detox, since that's what it was. And it was a very simple ebook, and it had such profound results in 5 days that it was word of mouth that people started doing it. And then someone else would buy this ebook. And I was living in London, so I charged £5 for the ebook, which translated to $8, a very arbitrary random number. And that was more for my time, because I realized people were going to ask me questions, and this information I'd put together in this little pamphlet. But so I had 5,000 followers. I started selling it, and it spread like wildfire, to the point where magazines started contacting me about it. I was written about in the Metro, and then I turned it into an app last year, and it went #1 in 6 countries in 24 hours.
God.
And it was incredible. And then I just turned it into a book with Random House this past March, and it became a bestseller too. And it's been crazy to see what this little kind of baby of mine, which was never meant to be this big product, became this big product. And I'm grateful though, because I know that it's helped so many people perspective with food and how they people understand how to eat now and how to keep weight off and all of this. And it's a quick fix, but it's one that actually works and keeps the results. So.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank
and
you.
So are you working with clients one-on-one or in group programs now to help them make these changes?
I do. Yeah, I do both. I have people, that just buy the app or the book, or they just subscribe to my newsletter. I have 50,000 people or over that now that have subscribed. So it's, I constantly send out recipes and blog posts. And then I do one-on-one coaching with people just because I think that that's the most effective. And I'm also leading retreats worldwide, and I have one coming up in January in the Cayman Islands, which I'm so excited about because it's based on the detox. So
that's
very
awesome.
exciting stuff.
And what can people expect from the retreats? What's the format for something like that?
They're all a little bit different, but this one happening at Le Soleil d'Or, which is on Cayman Brac, and it is a spectacular place. It has a 20-acre farm-to-table or 20-acre farm-to-table farm, and everything, or mostly everything that they have on the farm or at the restaurant is grown on the farm, which is just incredible, and the love that goes into everything. So I basically created this retreat around that idea of teaching people how to go to a farm, how to take these vegetables, how to create different meals with the same vegetables. So you're going to be learning meal prep. You're going to be learning how to create simple meals. We're going to be doing a really fun Master Chef style cooking thing and having people team up and really learning how to get back in touch with food and bring that love back into food.
Nice.
I'm going to be doing, it's going to be really fun. The whole thing for me is bringing fun back into the way we eat and not the stress, which I'm sure all about, teaching people about that.
Yeah. Because diets traditionally are
yeah.
so stressful, right? It's like, eliminate this, don't do that.
Yeah. And people are terrified of carbs. Like, I had the most amazing breakfast today, and it was 2 slices of this really delicious, very thick, dense bread, like seeded bread, 2 fried eggs, avocado, a salad on the side. And people would be like, oh, you can't, the eggs, the avocado is too much, or the bread. And you're like, or I just ate like the perfect meal. And it's no restriction, and it's all healthy food. And what I found is the less you restrict and the more you eat just natural whole foods, you just stop craving all the other stuff.
Right. Yeah. A lot of the people who listen and follow this are either aspiring to work in health and wellness, or they started out and, they want to achieve the level of success that you have. They want to do the books and the apps and all these kinds of things. What is your advice to a new yoga teacher or a new health coach?
I have a few different things. So on a side note as well, I also do branding and social media consultation. And this ranges from individuals who are just starting their company to big companies who have no idea what they're doing with their social media. I work with too. And it's just something that comes very naturally to me. So the first piece of advice is really finding out what your passion is, and knowing that if you're taking your passion into your business, there are going to be more times than good times that you start to hate your business, you lose your passion for it, and you have to remember that you're not going to make money for a really long time, and the money's going to come and then it's going to go, and you're going to get stressed out. And so I always tell people before they even start to really think about, if this is your passion, are you willing to go so far that you no longer like doing it? Right? Like it's
right.
True. As a health coach or a yoga teacher, it's like, oh, I love teaching yoga. But then when you get into the nitty gritty of it, you start to not love it. But then once you can move past those feelings, the rewards start to become that you're helping people and you're getting to share your voice and your expression of what you love. So that's the first piece of advice, is making sure that if it's your passion and you love it, that you're willing to go through the sticky kind of crunchy bits of it no longer be like my passion is everything that I do. And there's so many times where I'm like, what in the hell did I choose to do? Why don't I have a 9-to-5? It would be so much easier. Right?
Yes.
Like really would. But then you get to kind of be your own boss and all of that. So that's the first piece. The second piece of advice is, I would say, really creating, before you go and jump into anything, really starting to create your brand identity. And everyone worries about, oh, I need the perfect website and this and that. And I say, no, actually, you need to kind of go forward and say, what's your end goal? What do you want to achieve by everything you're doing? And then work backwards. Because I spent a lot of money on my website, and I have a very beautiful website now, but did I need to spend that money on it? No, absolutely not. What I should have spent my time and money on is really getting consistent and clear with my branding and saying, who's my target audience? Very, very specifically, who's my target audience? What is it that they're coming to me for? What makes me different than the person next to me who's selling my product? And working on that, like, what are my colors? What's my message I'm trying to get on social media, or like the message that I'm giving away, and starting off with the products you're going to be selling. So that to me is one of the most important things to really start with when you're opening a company or working with your brand, or you want to become the brand.
Yeah, that's really good advice. And I think sometimes people come into the industry and they think because they have so much bliss going to a yoga class that it's blissful when you're a yoga teacher.
Yeah, you're saying we try to create these perfect lives, and that from the outside everything looks great, and we have our makeup on and our hair done, and then it's like, and then there's the guy cutting the lawn and it's really loud and there's nothing I can do about it. So that kind of goes along with this thing of, when you're in your world and creating your business and you're looking for that bliss as the yoga teacher, you have to remember that when you start, you're going to have 2 people in your class, and you have to get over your ego that says, I'm a bad teacher, or I deserve to have more. It's like, no, that's just your ego speaking. Actually, if you continue to do it and you keep consistency and you love what you do, and it's about helping people, and it's not about how many people I get in my class. When it's all about you serving people, none of it matters.
Amen.
So I say all this, people like completely realize that in reality, this whole perfect life that we have is, you'd have no idea that I'm sitting here, typing on my laptop and doing all that, like listening to the lawnmower.
Yeah. And the more transparent I think we can be about that, the better. Because, there's no reason that people have to feel isolated or have to feel like they're bad at their craft just because they don't understand kind of all the hard work and hustle that you have to do. So tell me about, I think it's really fun that you brought this to TV as well. Kind of, you went from social media to actually bringing it to TV. What's that like? Is that fun? Is it stressful? What's the deal?
Everything we've been talking about when you take a yoga class, you feel really blissed out. And from the outside, you think that this yoga teacher got all these students into Shavasana, and it's amazing. That's the exact same thing as the TV shows that I do. So when the TV show actually hits air, everyone's like, oh my God, you look so beautiful. The segment was amazing. And I'm like, if only you knew how unglamorous it was. So I'll give you an example. I love it with my heart. I love it. It's the most rewarding because I get to do this on a very big mass level. And there's that engagement with the TV hosts and everything. But I'll walk you through, recently I was on Access Hollywood, and I was doing a turning summer comfort foods into healthier recipes. So me and the producer are going back and forth. I'm like, what to do? I'm writing an email. She writes back. She has to get it approved. So I didn't know what I was actually going to be making. And I was going on Monday at 7 a.m. I didn't know until Friday night what I'd be making. So I didn't have time to prepare anything. So I go shopping on the weekend. I make most of the stuff on Sunday, and I photographed it all so I could put it on my website. So I make most of the stuff because you have to make it before you get to the TV show because they don't really have kitchens. So I have to make it all look nice, cover it so that it doesn't spill, transport it all to my car the next morning. Meanwhile, that weekend, I have to go get my own outfit to wear. The next morning, I do my own hair and makeup, because you can hire people, but it costs a lot of money to have a food stylist, to have a makeup artist, to have a this. And as a model, like I know how to do my hair and makeup. So I get up at like 5 a.m. to drive all of this stuff out to the show, which is in the Valley. And I live in Venice, so it's a little bit of a distance. I get there. Then you have to get everything kind of prepared. And I don't know if you know, but food dies really quickly on, like when you cook food, if you don't eat it really quickly or photograph it, it starts to like wilt and look not so nice. So you have about 3 hours before you go on, and you have to get the food ready 2 hours before for the pre-shots and everything. And I have to set up the table and buy the flowers and do the whole thing. And then on top of that, I have to know what I'm going to talk about and hit certain bullet points, and then interact live with the TV hosts, and then, yeah, and then like try to remember if this means that, and I need to talk about this. So throughout the whole thing, by the end of it, when I'm done, then I clean up everything, and then I transport it all back to my car, and then I leave. And by the end of the day, I'm like, I don't even know what happened. It was a blur. But then when you see the final product and the show comes out, or like it airs later in that day, and it's all the stuff I do is live. So then you have that live element, and you have TV hosts coming and going. It's really, really intense. It's probably the most intense thing I've ever done, especially for food, because there's so many little elements that people have no idea about. And it looks so easy and beautiful. And I'm like, good. I'm glad it looked like that, because if it does, I succeeded.
Oh, that's so fun. That's so fun.
Yeah.
And it's such an art to be graceful and to make it graceful at the end of the day, right? It's like walking in stilettos. You're like, this hurts my feet.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I remember actually the first time I went on doing a whole cooking segment, it was on Access Hollywood, and I did it. I nailed it. It was amazing. And I walked and I told the producer and the senior executive producer, it was my first time, and they both their jaws dropped. And I could see their minds thinking like, how did we just let this girl go on who had never done it before, but I'd done so well that they had nothing to say. It's really, really intense. And I wish people could see more of the behind the scenes to see how chaotic it is, and this, and like, go. But then it's like anything. If you're a good yoga teacher, you make it seem elegant and graceful, and like anyone can do a handstand. In reality, most people will not be able to do it in that class. So that's my job when I go on a TV show.
Nice. So what's next? Are you working on another book, or what's happening in your brand?
I am working on my second book. I'm really excited. I don't know if I'm actually allowed to.
Oh, you don't have to tell us the name. I'm just curious.
I don't know. We just signed the final contract for it. And so I'm starting to work on it now. And I'm excited because it's something that really hasn't been done with a big publisher yet. So that will be exciting. And then obviously my retreat, which is coming up in the Cayman Islands, January 25th to the 30th. And if anyone's interested, obviously details on my website without sounding too salesy.
No, other than I want people to go. I want people to get involved. I mean, each person they can connect with is another kind of inspiration, motivation, right? It's like it helps us all move forward.
Yeah, it does. And I think I have a hard time with this sales aspect of things, because I'm so passionate about what I do and helping people that I kind of get lost in this. I don't want to sound like I'm salesy, because I'm not trying to be. I'm trying to just help someone. So if someone needs my help to lose weight, I can help anyone lose weight. It's a very easy thing for me to do, with whether it's health coaching or a consultation or they come to a retreat. That's what I specialize in. But I don't ever want to, I don't know. I don't like sounding salesy. And I think that's why people like me and my products sell, is because I don't try to over promote anything. I let the products do the talking for themselves. And I think, if you connect to me on a level where you, like, if you want to hang out with me and you think I'm a cool girl and you'd like to get a beer or a glass of wine with me, then I succeeded, because then you're more willing to trust me, knowing that I do have the expertise, and I have studied a ton, and I've studied a range of subjects. But then I love just the everyday life and sharing, about the balance and moderation. And like, people are always so surprised when they find out that I drink still. And I'm like, I love wine and beer a lot. But it's all, it's all about moderation and teaching people that there is love with your food and it shouldn't be this stressful, detrimental thing. So, yeah.
Okay,
And
I will promote you if you won't promote yourself. So do they go, your website is nikkisharp.com?
Yeah, nikkisharp.com, same as my Instagram.
Nikkisharp, and the retreat's in January, and the book they can get on your website and Amazon.
Amazon, Barnes and Noble, pretty much like every retail store. My app is on the app store called the 5-Day Detox. I have blog posts, sign up for the newsletter, come to the retreat, download an ebook. So lots of
listening, you have to do all those things. So cool. Thank you, Nikki, for spending some time with us. I really, really appreciate it.
So much. Thank you. It was lovely to be here.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode. You can join the Women in Wellness Club at women-in-wellness.com.